Hello and welcome. I am Gimba Umar. Tonight, Senate President Dr. Bukola Saraki calls for removal of incompetent service chiefs as he blames killings across the country on poor coordination by security agencies. Nigerian military leaders seek improved synergy and cooperation among security agencies as they flag off armed forces and security agencies half marathon. President Muhammad Buhari arrives in Mauritania ahead of the 31st session of the African Union Summit. And thousands of people protest against President Donald Trump's immigration policy across American cities.
On business news tonight, Central Bank of Nigeria releases balance of payments data indicating $7.3 billion surplus in the first quarter of 2018.
And on sports news tonight, two of the world's best footballers, Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo's hopes for a world title go up in flames after Argentina and Portugal crash out of the 2018 FIFA World Cup.
We begin tonight with the comments by the Senate President on the security situation in the country. Dr. Bukola Saraki is blaming non-coordination amongst the nation's service chiefs as responsible for the inability to find solution to the constant killings. He believes that removing incompetent service chiefs will put an end to the attacks and restore people's confidence in the security agencies. He explains that the National Assembly had early organized security summits and invited some security chiefs to brief the legislature on what is being done to stem the killings, which he said was politicized. He was speaking during a visit to communities affected by recent rainstorms in Ilorin, the Kwara State capital.
The National Assembly, under my leadership, over a few months, many months back, we had seen this danger. We had called upon for a security summit. We have addressed the issue of security architecture. We have said that there's definitely a failure of the security architecture of the country. There's need for us to review. We have gone very hard to even invite service chiefs. You're all very aware that we've done this. You're all very aware that some service chiefs have decided in their own wisdom that there is no need for them to work with the National Assembly to address these issues. So unfortunately, that when we're trying to do things for this country, things are politicized and people do not see at that time on where we are today. There is a problem. There's no society that continues to see the kind of killings here, and we think that it should be business as usual. It requires drastic action. It requires a collaboration of all agencies and all arms of government for us to be serious. As we resume, we continue our part as Parliament to ensure that those who are those are accountable to the people. We cannot continue. This is not something to be politicized. If somebody is not capable, that cannot do what it has to be, let the others giving the opportunity to do it. And if there are issues, we have had opportunities where security agencies have told us there's poor coordination. 1A is not talking to B, B is not talking to C. They don't attend meetings jointly, and things need to be done. Let us forget the issue of party. These are lives of people, and let's remove politics. It is not about who is the Speaker of the House, who is the President. It's about Nigeria.
The President of the Nigerian Senate, Dr. Bukola Saraki, and it appears that the Chief of Defence Staff, General Abayomi Olonishakin, read the mind of the Senate President today when he spoke about building a strong bond and cooperation among security agencies in the country. General Olonishakin says that national security, as well as the protection of Nigeria's territorial integrity, are some of the core responsibility of the Nigerian armed forces, and that cannot be effectively delivered without a strong relationship. He was speaking at the flag-off of the 2018 Armed Forces and Security Agencies Half Marathon in Abuja.
For some time now, superiority struggle among the rank and file of some security agencies have led to loss of lives and destruction of property. A few instances include the police and army clash in Damaturu, Yobe State in April 2017, as well as the May 17, 2018 clash between the army and the police in Port Harcourt after an alleged murder of an army officer, a development that has been described as inimical to national security. Efforts to address such disagreements and create a strong synergy among security agencies is one of the reasons for organizing the Armed Forces and Security Agencies half-marathon competition in Abuja. The Chief of Defense Staff, Secretary to the Government of the Federation, as well as the Minister of Interior, arrived at the starting point of the 2018 Armed Forces and Security Agencies half-marathon in Abuja. After a brief opening remark by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, the athletes file out and the 21.09 race begins. The finishing point is the mini stadium at the General Igwe-Ironsi cantonment. Here, both the Chief of Defense Staff as well as the Secretary to the Government of the Federation highlight the importance of cooperation among security agencies in order to effectively deliver on their core mandates.
It is very important to state that the improved understanding, synergy, and cooperation between the armed forces of Nigeria and other security agencies, which this game, among other initiatives, promotes, is in fulfillment of the desire of Mr. President, Commander-in-Chief, President Muhammadu Buhari, for a more cohesive national security institutions for the overall objective of effective and efficient security for all Nigerians.
I urge you all to embrace the spirit of the games, which motto is racing to bond. Through your collective support and commitment in confronting the security challenges of our nation, Nigeria.
The protection of citizens and the nation's territorial borders are some of the core mandates of the armed forces. Very important national responsibility that needs strong collaboration among security agencies.
Meanwhile, some prominent Nigerians have been speaking on the security challenges facing the country, especially the recent killings in some north-central states. The Catholic Bishop of Sokoto Diocese, Matthew Kuka, is calling on Nigerian youth to unite in order to combat the security issues. Bishop Kuka blames parents for some of the ills in the country as he identifies poor parenting and lack of care for children as a major factor responsible for the misdemeanor of some youths. A former Speaker of the House of Representatives, Gali Umar Naabba, on his part, emphasized the need for President Muhammadu Buhari to engage in effective collaboration in order to reduce the nation's security challenges.
Many of you, to you young children, please remember that in Plateau State, only last week, there were perhaps many young people like you getting ready and preparing for graduation, but now they've graduated to the grave. Right across our country, in Zamfara, in Kaduna, in Katsina, in almost every state, all our country is literally on fire. The challenge, therefore, is for parents. You parents are paying a lot of money to give your children a good education. But too many parents are outsourcing parenting. We have transferred our responsibility to machines. Our society is not going to grow if we don't give our women a voice, if we don't give our children a voice.
These conflicts have been raging on even before this current administration. And I thought the administration must be prepared enough, to meet with most communities where these conflicts have been taking place, with a view to engage in them, not on a one-off basis, but on a continuous basis. I don't see this happening.
Still talking security, some Nigerian students at the Cambridge University in England are protesting the recent killings in the country and what they call the government's indecisiveness in resolving the killings. Bearing placards with different inscriptions, the students demand action to end the killings and justice for the victims of the attacks.
When I remember Taraba, water run away my eyes.
This past week has seen various protests against the wanton killings in the country and yet another one is staged, this time on the streets of Cambridge in England. They are young Nigerians studying at the University of Cambridge, north of London. And even though they are far from home, they are making it clear that the happenings in Nigeria are close to their heart.
According to Amnesty International, about 1,813 people have been killed by herdsmen in Nigeria alone this year. This is more than double of what happened last year. At this rate, we're going to have over 3,000 deaths in Nigeria, and this is unprecedented.
We demand that these killers be arrested and prosecuted immediately. We demand that you begin to prioritize the safety and security of every Nigerian life as non-negotiable. We demand that you condemn this massacre in unequivocal terms and initiate a project of national reconciliation and healing.
At different venues, they hold conversations, drawing the attention of curious onlookers as they take turns to speak. A brief moment of silence is observed for the victims of the attacks in Nigeria, but the most recent one in Plateau State.
The government can do something. It is capable of stopping the massacre, but it must act now. It must act to stop the killings. That is why we are here today. And until concrete actions have been taken by the government, these protests will only continue to grow louder.
These students say the peaceful march is not attention-seeking, but a call to the government to prioritize security in a country they hope will be safe enough for them to return to after their studies.
Staying with security issues, but this time in Oyo State. The state governor, Senator Abiola Ajimobi, has vowed that the perpetrators of the Bodija market crisis that led to the loss of lives and property will be prosecuted and made to rehabilitate the burnt police station. The governor, who visited the market in company of the Commissioner of Police, says that his administration will not tolerate thuggery and violence, and that he will not fold his hands and allow dissidents to destroy his 7 years of leadership in the state. Governor Ajimobi condoled with the traders and the people of Bodija market, assuring that the government may reopen the market within the next 48 hours after due consultations with security agencies.
Those who burnt it must pay for it. There is no lawlessness in this state. We are going to charge them. They must pay for it. Since we came in 8 years ago, we've maintained peace. Yes. We are going to insist. And the cost of peace is enforcement of the rule of the law. The job of government is to provide safety and security for its citizenry and to enhance its socio-economic values. That is our job. And in doing so, we must look at the health situation of our people. We must look at social services. And one of it is to provide a clean, healthy environment where the cows and rams are slaughtered. We don't want a situation where some of these cows with diseases are being killed here. With the new place, they will check their health. They will check everything about them. So, because many times you don't even know causes of cancer, of all these diseases that we have. But by killing them there, by making sure we have a modern abattoir, apart from modernizing it, we are also providing an healthy, conducive environment.
In part two, after the break, we're keeping our focus and gaze on security concerns across the country. Colonel Stan Lambo, retired, will be speaking to us on that. Plus, President Muhammadu Buhari arrives in Mauritania's capital city of Mouakot ahead of the 31st session of the African Union Summit. And that's in a moment. Do stay with us.